Welcome to the luncheon edition of news as produced by Triple N for today, Monday, 22nd August 2022. The luncheon edition comes to you through the auspices of Flow. Coming up in the headlines, locally, there is no increase in bus prices. Regionally, in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Rowley said CARICOM is stronger together. Internationally, US presses airlines to better help stranded travelers. And let's not forget, we have the latest in sports. Jamaica's Andrew Hudson wins NACAC 200-meter gold. Gator of the Bahamas cops the silver. I'll have the details for you when I return.
Northern News Network. First in news, reviews, and interviews.
So fast pay, new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow, it's now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. So fast pay, so fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Welcome back. I am Don Ezra Francois. The general public is informed that there is no increase in bus prices on the Eastern Main Road bus route. We get more in this report.
The Ministry of Infrastructure and Physical Development, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation and Transportation says the Eastern Main Road Bus Transportation Association price list that is currently circulating on social media is false information. The list shows increases of 50 cents to $1 in fares for students and adults for both short and long trips. GIS was informed by the Ministry of Transportation on Friday that there is no ongoing discussion with the Eastern Main Road Bus Transport Association or any bus association on increases in bus fares. Grenadians are called upon to be vigilant and report any attempt to implement the unauthorized price increase.
Low rainfall is a historical problem for Carriacou and Petite Martinique, and ways are being examined to alleviate the situation, particularly as it relates to farmers and to enhance agriculture developments on the Twin Isle Parish. The effort is being spearheaded by Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and local government with support from the Sustainable Agriculture and Enterprise Program (SAEP) of the Caribbean Development Bank. A team led by SAEP project manager Byron Campbell and including other CDB officials was recently in Carriacou looking at proposed sites for installing irrigation systems such as ponds and wells. Some of the proposed areas are Mount Pleasant, Dumfries, Bel Air, Limleh, and Grand Bay. Acting Chief of the CDB's social sector, Dr. Martin Batiste, said these proposed projects should allow for better access to food and nutrition security. Another component of the agriculture program is the development of feeder roads. In Carriacou, one of the major farming communities is located at Dumfries, and the rehabilitation and construction of roads in that area are being looked at to allow farmers better access to their farms. Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government, Honorable Tevin Andrews, said his ministry will give all the necessary support to ensure the projects are successfully executed, as the NDC administration views agriculture as one of the transformational pillars. This concludes the local segment of the news as produced by Triple N. The sports is up next.
First, fast, and factual. You are totally covered by Triple N.
So fast pay, new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow, it's now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay, 2 minutes. minutes and you're on your way. Flow Fast Pay. Flow Fast Pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Good day, sporting fans. Regionally, in athletics, Andrew Hudson unleashed his frustrations at missing out on the World Championships in July at the 2022 Knockout Championships in the Bahamas on Sunday, winning the 200-meter final in a lifetime best and new meet record of 19.87 seconds. In doing so, the Jamaican 200-meter champion won his very first medal for Jamaica in an international competition. Hudson, the Texas Tech alum whose transfer for Legions from the United States did not take effect until July 28, causing him to miss representing Jamaica at the World Championships in Oregon, took command of the race from the gun to clock a massive personal best. In his wake was the American duo of Kyrie King, who ran 20 seconds for the silver medal, and Josephus Lyles, the brother of World 200-meter champion Noah Lyles, who clocked 20.18 seconds for the bronze medal. The USA took the women's race as Brittany Brown sped to 22.34 seconds for the gold medal ahead of Tania Gator of the Bahamas and Akila Mitchell of the United States, who ran 22.53 for the bronze medal. On the international scene in football, English champions Manchester City produced a brilliant fight back as they came from 3-1 down to draw at Newcastle in a pulsating match featuring 6 goals and an overturned red card. Newcastle were 2 goals ahead after 54 minutes, but Erling Haaland and Bernardo Silva scored within 4 minutes of each other to preserve City's unbeaten start to their Premier League title defence. City took a 5th-minute lead as Gundogan was left unmarked from Silva's pass and was able to take a touch before slotting past Nick Pope. The England goalkeeper made a number of saves before the hosts equalised, with Miguel Almiron sliding in to meet Alan Saint-Maximin's cross, with the goal given after a video assistant review overruled an original offside decision. The excellent Saint-Maximin ran at the City's defence before finding Callum Wilson, who took a touch to create space and shot Newcastle into the lead. The visitors had a chance to equalise, but Pope pushed Haaland's effort onto the post, and Kieran Trippier, sold by City in 2012 after coming through the academy, grabbed a brilliant third with a stunning 25-yard free kick. Haaland pulled one back, finishing from inside the 6-yard box after Rodri's pass before Silva equalised following Kevin De Bruyne's superb through ball. Newcastle thought they had gone down 10 men with Trippier shown a red card for a knee-high trip on De Bruyne, but referee Jared Gillett downgraded to a yellow card after watching the incident again on a pitchside monitor, and both teams finished with a point. And there you have it, folks. That's sports. Thank you for listening.
After this commercial break, international news will be next on this station.
Flow Fast Pay. A new and easy way to pay. Flow Fast Pay. Flow Fast Pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Flow Fast Pay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. Flow Fast Pay. Flow Fast Pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
On the international scene, Transportation Secretary has urged the 10 largest U.S. airlines to do more to help stranded and delayed passengers, calling the level of disruption travelers have faced this summer as unacceptable. Here are the details.
Amid an outcry over air travel delays, cancellations, and baggage mishaps, the U.S. is pressing airlines to do more for stranded passengers, or the government would step in. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg sent letters to 10 of the largest U.S. airlines, warning the government is contemplating new rules that, quote, would further expand the rights of airline passengers, like requiring refunds for delayed baggage. Buttigieg said 24% of domestic flights have been delayed in the first half of the year and urged airlines to assess customer service plans to better help customers facing flight delays or cancellations. He asked airlines, quote, at a minimum to provide meal vouchers for delays of 3 hours or more, and lodging accommodations for passengers who must wait overnight at an airport because of disruptions within the carrier's control. Trade group Airlines for America said in a statement, quote, "Airlines want travelers to have a safe, seamless, and positive travel experience and are working toward that goal every day." As of now, U.S. airlines are not legally required to provide meals or hotel rooms amid flight disruptions. The Transportation Secretary is facing pressure from U.S. lawmakers who want him to do more to force airlines to provide better service. Airlines say they have voluntarily reduced flights to improve service, ramped up hiring, and argue that inadequate air traffic control staffing has routinely impacted flights.
Staying in touch with what happens in the region means you're staying with Triple N. Congratulations on making the perfect choice.
Fast pay on you an easy way to pay. Fast pay. Fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Fast pay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. Fast pay. Fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Welcome back to Regional Developments. In Trinidad and Tobago, we are stronger when we act together. The words of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. Prime Minister Rowley said the ability to feed ourselves as a Caribbean community is possible, and the commitment of leaders is evidence that food security is a priority. We get more in this report.
We are stronger when we act together. The words of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. In delivering brief remarks at the ribbon-cutting ceremony of the Agri Expo at the Queen's Park Savannah on Friday, Prime Minister Rowley said the ability to feed ourselves as a Caribbean community is possible, and the commitment of leaders is evidence that food security is a priority.
I expect that we will see changes for the better. I expect that we will be positive, because it's out of a positive spirit that we'll get the kind of outcome that we are after. Let's tell ourselves that we can do it. God has blessed us with some good soil, some good land, great weather, good coastline, and of course we are located in the best part of the world.
The Prime Minister also noted that support is needed from the citizens of each country in the Caribbean region to make this a reality.
We are staying the course on, among other things, we're staying the course of laying down the infrastructure, making the commitment to feed ourselves. That's what we're trying to do. And if we do that well, other things will follow.
The Agri-Investment Forum and Expo is free to the public and runs from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at the Queen's Park Savannah until Sunday, August 21st.
This wraps up the Luncheon edition of news as produced by Triple N for today, Monday, 22nd August 2022. I have been your presenter, Don Ezra Francois. Thank you for joining us.
Distant lands, our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains, through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain. By test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to a program on target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you could pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, or any topical issue of the day. We can speak on it. We never have a dull moment in Grenada. So you could always raise any issue. The number to call is 4420-175. And we have the WhatsApp, and we will try to engage some of the comments on Facebook. We highly appreciate it. And on WhatsApp. And we read out comments, So let's go right ahead. We never have a dull moment, as I said. Today, Grenadian farmers, sometime later in the day, will be selecting the farmers' representative in the Senate. The process, I believe, is facilitated by the Ministry of Agriculture, and rightly so. We do not have any umbrella body for farmers in Grenada. So the Ministry of Agriculture is the correct department to handle that. And it seems this time that the farmers in Carriacou would be involved in the process. So farmers have to go and select the representative. I've always believed that the farmers' representative in the Senate over the years have never given the farmers a good deal. They always seem to be politicians. And the farmers' representative over the years, the board, the nutmeg board, the cocoa board, the banana no longer exists, always seems to gravitate towards the old GNP or the NDC. And the GNP and NDC never last long in government. The Erigeri was a very successful politician vis-a-vis the amount of time he win election. So you had a long stint with him. And then Kit Mitchell, you had a long period with him. These boards normally support the National Democratic Congress and the OGNP. And they have, so when another government in power, they more behave like the opposition. They're combative. They're criticizing everything. And they are not prepared to work with agriculture. A farmer's representative must work with the Minister of Agriculture, must lobby in the interest of the farmers. And I think it's so sad and unfortunate. This period of time, sometimes you're very lucky that you get a farmer's representative that is a very close working relationship with the National Democratic Congress. One would hope that they're able to draw a line of demarcation between their politicalness and the farmers' interests. If it so happens that the one who is selected is a politico of the National Democratic Congress. So that's an issue that we'll have to watch unfold. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, senators, you have Chris Daly, you have the Labour senator, and the other senator that represent the farmers. What I could see about the two leaders, the senators, the Ali and the Labour senator, they represent the client. And by listening to the Senate, what I recognize, all the time the former senators always side with the opposition. Like if they forget who elect them and why they elect them, there is to represent the farmers. But whatever they forget the farmers and they're only seeking the interest of the self or the party they support. All right? I'm saying I heard that the bushing will be open. One of them want to know, like, I heard that the road maintenance, they are the one that will be doing the cutting of the bush. I know it. I hear that. I know how true it is, but let you know that there. Because when you have the road maintenance was then cleaning the road, while you have the other people doing the bushing, and if what we hear is true, that means a lot of people that was doing the bushing, they will no longer getting there. Only if they put it in a way that look like, let's say like the road maintenance every day, 12 months in a year, the 4 months for the for the year, right? So I mean, a 3 road maintenance gang going out, or if there
Color,
will be
you should not be surprised, you know. I mean, there are some things I like to study political parties and study the philosophy, the strategy. The NDC, the National Democratic Congress, never liked this mass amount of workers on the road. And they never like contract workers. They prefer perhaps to have a smaller number of people employed permanently. That has always been the policy of the NDC.
you see, and one of the things that here, okay, all right, if you want a small amount of people permanent, but what you said in your in the campaign, they can, all contract workers will be permanent. That's what I say to people, right? And I say some people may vote for the permanent, and when they vote for the permanent, then you send them home. That means you lie for them. You only say that just to get a vote.
You see, people, the time has come for us to start to study the politicians. It's very important to know what is the political philosophy of a group of people.
You have to study and know them.
So I'm not surprised. The fact that they're talking about the road work so quick might be a knee-jerk reaction because people criticize it.
Exactly.
I don't think the plan was to bring back this road work as it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they say look like the bush is opening, right? They have a transit. Change your name. It will the same work in Bush County.
Well, again, nothing is wrong in changing the name. The National Democratic Congress have attacked this program so mercilessly that they must change the name. They should change the name.
Well, the same thing, like 6.5 of the same.
Well, if you change the name, you remember when they got rid of Imani and then they changed the name. You know, they have to. If you decide to criticize, and that's why I have challenges with opposition parties. You should be a think tank when you're in opposition, trying to find answers, rather than just blanket criticism.
Just criticize.
Otherwise, when you go in power, you're cannibalizing.
Simple like that.
Yeah,
right?
Thank
you.
And
I heard some neighbor them thing around with the Speaker of the House.
Yeah, Color, thank you. I'm going to speak about this one too. Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, people should not be surprised if the National Democratic Congress do not take the same approach to cleaning the road as the NNP. One of the reasons for this massive amount of people involved in debushing is because of high unemployment. 2,000 workers lost their job in the hotel industry during COVID-19. St. George's University grind to a halt, including the multiplying effects of St. George's University. People selling on the street for St. George's University, the bars that was open, they would have to cut down the hours and cut down staff. So if we lose 2,000 people from the hotel industry alone, and St. George's University that contributed almost 20% to the GDP, you have a massive amount of people unemployed. So this is perhaps the reason that the debushing program was expanded more to create a buffer, to create a sponge, to help unemployed people to eat a food so they don't thief. Because nobody is starving you. Could you imagine somebody like me, uneducated and not working and unemployed? I'm better in jail. I ain't starving. So you think it's easy to watch a woman with 2 children, she send you to buy milk, and you go outside hoping to hustle to get milk, and you don't get milk, and nighttime coming, and you have to go back home. You know what it is for a child to get up in the night and crying. You know what it is. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Good day, gentlemen.
Yes, caller, punch.
After I spoke a while ago about the road workers need not be re-employed or something.
The debushing program we're speaking about.
Okay. Well, as far as I understand, you have debushing people who went out work this morning. The estate people, I understand they will be getting $300,000 as Cocoa Association to do farming on the farmers' land. and nutmeg also might be getting $300,000. I don't know how true it is. That's how I.
Well, we don't hear that yet. That maybe that is not public yet.
Yeah, well, it came out on the news.
Well, okay. Sorry. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. You see, one of the issues is, and I said before, don't expect the National Democratic Congress to operate the debushing program. They can't, because they have criticized and attacked it immensely. And in my opinion, I support it, because I believe that if people unemployed, you have to go and give them money. I don't joke with that. You cannot have a significant percent of your population unemployed. They will kill old people. They go thief. They go break place. You're going to have a rise in prostitution, social decadence. Almost everybody in the world knows that already. This is why United States of America have so much social programs. This is why in Canada, they even go out on the street to help drug addicts, giving them clean needles so they wouldn't get disease. You must take care of your people in the lower socioeconomic grouping, particularly when you have a job market and a lot of your younger people are not competitive on the job market. What I mean, they see in trouble to get a job because they don't have the skills. They can't speak good. They're using obscenities. They're cussing the boss. As soon as they reach a cussing the boss, they're calling him thief. They don't care about it. They don't have the soft skills, and they don't even have hard skills. You leave school, and I said before, you go to college, you leave school at 16, you go to National College, you come out back up maybe about 2018, 20. And you have a degree, associate degree or what, in psychology and management, in business management, in what creative thinking, in liberal arts. What you going to do with that? The job market don't want that. And that is a challenge we find a lot of our people in. A lot of our beautiful women, they end up with these things. They think they're bright, they think they're smart, and they're looking good. You're heading for trouble when you realize you don't have skills. And this is why I supported the government policy, and still do, of the Imani program, and encourage Jamaica and Trinidad and other countries to adopt it. Look at the level of violence that's going on in Trinidad and Jamaica. Grenada police has been doing a very good job in addition to the government social program. Because in Grenada, we spend more money on social safety net than any other nation in the region. So that would have helped prevent of our people from getting involved in unnecessary crime. But this is a stopgap. The real challenge is to improve the productivity level in education. When 15–20% of our children live in school with the minimum requirement, the state is in trouble. Because children, after they live 16 years in school, and you could say, yes, I'm ready to have sex. So you have the age, you reach the age of consent. You also reach the age of having children. And if you don't have skills, so you could go on the job market, and our society does not encourage marriage. Everybody giving you one amount of reason why you shouldn't marry. So a girl 25 years, 30 years, she don't even have a man yet. And the boy 30 years is still on the block waiting for this nice maiden to come around. You have a tourist relationship. A lot of our men and women, they have tourist relationship. You have 30 years, you have a tourist relationship. You start to reach the age that if you get pregnant, you might have to use a sledgehammer and a cold chisel. You become a health risk after you pass 35 years and having a child for the first time. Don't believe me. Ask any doctor, any nurse. You don't believe me when I speak just like that. There's so much people on social media distorting the truth. Ask a doctor or nurse. And yet you have no, you don't even have skills for the job market. That is why the government expand the age of youth to 39. United Nations says from 14 to 25. Most countries say up to 35. So while they would not provide funding for you, for people that old, they accept it and will create the latitude for you to function. So this is one of the reasons governments, and as long as politicians, some of these politicians, they're not married. Only problem too, these politicians, a lot of them don't live in house with women, you know, and they ignore their family members. So they don't understand the plight. They don't understand the consequences of people not having permanent jobs. And they are good jobs. They build a house, and they buy a car. Most are Grenadian bright people, that's what they do. Don't believe me. Watch around. Most certificate a man have, less risk he take. I like to call my partner Kenny because he can't do me nothing. Go and watch Kenny Lalsin and all the other businessmen, Ramdani, Qualis, all the other businessmen. Watch and see how much certificate they have. As soon as an individual have plenty certificate, he don't take risk. Or he don't take as much risk. So what he does, he build a nice house, buy a car. And when he get broke, he puts some apartment below. He never had no plan to put apartment below you. After he get broken, sometimes the wife go with half what he have. He put apartment below. Now, when you have a group of people like that in politics, and you don't see they have the natural attachment to the family on the ground, they would not understand social programs. They would never understand that. And the quicker the 9 people that in government turn politician, I'd like to give them over 6 months a year to turn politician. Turn politician so you understand the bleating. You understand the tears of the individuals on the ground. Some people, when you meet them, you don't know how to help them. They don't have the competitiveness to get a job. They don't have the skills to get a job. They don't have the soft skills to even approach you. So if you is a perfectionist, you're going to just ignore them. But sometimes they need you the most. Now, how do we deal with that? When we have a media house that obviously, I really want to channel our media house. I want them to start with Coco, you know. I really want a media personnel go and start with Coco. I don't want to talk about Coco. I want somebody from the media. Because you might believe it's just a farmer that angry or upset. So if one of these individuals from the media start to look at Coco, and remember, we have the Coco board, we have the managers, we have the Minister of Agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture now was involved in nutmeg for a lot of years. And the person he is, he would have wield immense influence in Coco. Because the management of these two entities, while totally different, is difficult to put a line of demarcation between them. They're different and they're inseparable. So the minister must have played a significant role in some of the policies. So some journalists have to take on these issues. You know what question to ask. I don't know what is the correct question to ask. So the government must look at the social program. I don't believe they have a policy on it. It was knee-jerk reaction when they in campaign. And since they seems to neglect the old NDC, they're selling them and rest. But I think they take the motivational speaker on radio who say, give them armchair, show them home. They must have taken their advice. Today we will have a new Speaker of the House. Finally, we expect Parliament to open because they have selected the head of the Senate and the Speaker of the House. And St. Andrews seems to be fortunate to have speakers of the House. In Gary days, we had Mr. Reason. He was an old teacher, principal of school, Reason from Paradise. And then we had Marcel Peters. The National Democratic Congress had selected Marcel Peters as the Speaker of the House. And then the NDC had selected Maguire as the Speaker of the House. And the NNP had selected Michael Pierre, stayed there for a good while. Perhaps he was the longest serving Speaker of the House. Michael Pierre. So now it seems that the NDC has stayed in St. Andrews, and they say Keto would be the new Speaker of the House. So these individuals come from the country, and Keto has been actively involved. He was one of the potential candidates. Tessa kind of edged him out on the last minute, you know. So the National Democratic Congress have to get some help in looking at the social program. I see them making rudimentary blunders already. Now I see the trade union. I want to stop talking about that because the trade union seems to be taking it on. You see, the trade union leaders, they must take it on you. Because in the next couple months, they would have a group of people that want to throw them out. So they have to fight for their own survival. So you cannot promise workers. And I think this is why they win the election. In 2008, NDC lost the election. They won the election in the last couple of days. And the same thing happened again. They won the election in the last 2 weeks. Because they decided then they would not have get rid of the Imanis and they would give them $1,000. And they promised then they will raise the older people pay, I think up to $400. When they reached in power, they did immediately, they attacked the Imani and immediately they dropped it. Immediately they took out some of the people from them old people, they threw them out. This time they promised they will make workers permanent. No one would lose their job. And they complain about workers on contract. They don't like contract. This was the union language. And I was wondering how the union could be advising them on that. Because I know there was a close relationship between the union. But obviously, the union was speaking about one issue and the NDC speaking about another. The union would be speaking about workers within the service that we consider as temporary, supernumerary, or temporary permanent. Union call them temporary permanent. They don't say they in the service so long as temporary, they call them temporary permanent or supernumerary or on contract. But the NDC was speaking about all workers. So people who doing a little contract, get a little contract on the road, they say we will get permanent contract. We're going to have permanent jobs. And particularly in the lower echelons of society, people want to be permanent the most because that is the area you hardly have movement. But when individuals are well trained, they don't want to be permanent. They prefer to be on contract. That's the reason when Grenada spend 200, 300,000 to train a medical doctor, when he come here, he give you the minimum required service. If he was able to get him to sign a contract for 3 years or 5 years, a bond, as soon as he give you that, you walk away. And then we cry about the health system. Now, how are you going to improve it? Health is not only about infrastructure. It has to be to have the professional, the qualified professional persons involved. So this is something I think people have to try to better understand. You know, and don't be angry if NDC take a total different approach towards debushing. They would not have all these people involved in debushing. They might go for a smaller staff and keep them permanent. In that way, and you can watch the grouping, you know, watch the group of people that will be employed. You would see more would be of their militant members. And they have no choice because if they make a very small group, then they would have less people employed. One have to look at the philosophy of the party. The trade union representative in the Senate was practically lobbying government to guarantee housing for people who are trained. To guarantee housing for people who are trained. After you send and give them free education, You must make sure they have a job and give them housing. What's about the people on the block who cannot even find a job? Grenada have it's a small cake, it's like a cake. And you have to share that cake among its people. And if those who are given much still want more, then you would have less for the people in the lower echelons of society. And that is the challenge facing the National Democratic Congress. Election was on the 23rd. Let's say the 24th, the official. Within 1 month, people already from the lower echelons of society are crying out. I saw some social media warriors, the National Democratic social media warriors, trying to compare, trying to make reference to people who was transferred during the NNP period. And I sometimes amazed. I wonder if they want to distort the truth. I don't think we must permit people to distort the truth on social media all the time. That is called propaganda. So you talk about the commissioner of police. You talk about the permanent secretary. We ain't talking about these people. We're talking about cook. We're talking about cleaners. We're speaking about ordinary folks whose salary is not even $2,000. And they would use that as a distraction. And I'm very glad that the union leader started to speak about it. I will only delve in it again when I find it not thorough. Because you must remember, and politicians also have to understand that whatever deal you make with a union, it could come back to haunt you. Because another executive might come in and use the same deal. You had money to pay the teachers. You had money to pay officers who did not work. The court agreed they didn't work. You had money to pay them. You're struggling now with some little to pay. If you decide to get rid of the people, there is a procedure in place. You pay them for a holiday and you pay them in lieu of notice. They're going to say you is a bandit because you promised to keep them permanent, but you would not have broken any legal contractual agreement, whether signed or unsigned. You'll have just go back on your word. At least you let them go with paying them for the holiday and also paying them in lieu of notice. This is the minimum that could have been done. So it is sad and unfortunate when you do not do it. We have I read one of the posts. The AG stated on the Heartbeat program that your forum is spreading misinformation. Real layoff because only 4 persons were sent home for good, legitimate reasons. What say you on this? Remember, we speak on this program and we read letters, and we challenge them. We challenge people on a program. When I speak, I provoke discussion. And I express my opinion on all issues, particularly politics. And if I have new information, I change my position. But it's good that the AG listening to the program. I do hope the AG help us sort out the 150,000 shares that is assigned to farmers. But the trick in it, or the deceiving part in it, a farmer could only get 3 shares. So if you divide 150,000 shares assigned to farmers by the number 3, you're supposed to have 50,000 farmers. So the Cocoa Association knows clearly how much farmers that would be able to access these shares, because although you is a cocoa farmer, you may not be qualified. And we calculate that we might have about 3,000 farmers. So that is about 10,000 shares. So we're asking what happened to the 141 shares. We're not even asking yet Why not? Why shouldn't the farmers give more shares? Since it's their money that start this program. Since you refuse to give them back pay for the longest while. You see, my brothers, these things are in context when we're dealing with a present administration that sent out the first signal that information is based upon need to know. You see, this is what is significant. You know. Information is based upon need to know. So we have to ask everything we want because it seems that the government is going to determine what we need to know. Yeah? My brother said Grenada needs to be liberalized so that people can find ways of making a living. Grenada needs to be liberalized so people can find ways of making a living. I don't know to what extent you want the country to be liberalized more. I agree with you, but we must specify in to what extent, because Grenadians have the most land owners in the entire region. And people can make decisions independent from the government once you're doing something legally. And government is going to legalize weed. Very soon, they're going to legalize weed. They cannot do nothing short of that. Not decriminalize it, they have to legalize weed. So that means just now we could plant weed in the land. I have a couple acres and I'm planning already to plant weed. So yes, if our children is living in school, but they don't have the necessary talents, they're not endowed with the necessary skills to be competitive on the job market, it's a serious challenge for Grenada. I believe our education system is the most unproductive ministry in Grenada. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. P.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
What happened to the farmers' lips now? 3 shares they could get. Why they ain't go and demonstrate? They go and demonstrate for pension and for duck salary for teachers. Where are they? What is their position now? They might have crazy money.
A lot of farmers did not know. Because if you notice, Real FM has been begging for years to come on the program to provide information to the farmers. And when the Real FM found out that St. Patrick's was far, they went down as far as Grenville to meet them halfway. And they still didn't come. So maybe the farmers didn't know. We have to give the farmers the benefit of the doubt. They didn't know. But when the teachers issue, there was a way, so they went and helped. So we have to hope now that this new representative in the Senate, the one they're going to select before the day up, will really champion the cause of the farmer.
Well, he will be a politician, so he wouldn't champion the cause.
Yeah, the farmers representative in the Senate, so that is in the upper house.
Yes.
I don't know why get trapped with it all the time. The upper house is the Senate. Yeah, yeah. So we do hope he's going to come on Real FM, and because of the agricultureness of that station, a lot of people listen to the agriculture program.
Of course.
So maybe I think he may not. Whoever they select may take a whole different attitude, not necessarily be an NDC supporter in the house, but a farmer's representative. And they might be better.
Not one that want to be a politician. Because as soon as you see they start to wear the jacket, that is what us tie up the brain, The jacket. Colonialism.
Well, Maurice Bishop, remember when they asked Maurice Bishop why didn't change the Queen, Maurice Bishop didn't like the Queen. So if we had a revolution, imagine this one shock Al Gonzalo and them in the Caribbean, and Douglas and Uzi and them, He shocked them, All of them, they wearing green and red cap and all kind of things. They're like Russian Marxists. But when they ask Bishop, well, why you don't use the time now to get rid of the Queen? Bishop say, I like the Queen. You notice the trade union, you notice the Bar Association was not supportive of amending the constitution.
No,
Although,
like the Queen.
although Robles and Francis Alexis cried him to change, they didn't change.
Yes,
You notice the trade union was not supportive of the constitution.
No.
And you notice the new prime minister is not supportive of changing the constitution.
No, but he want to put him at the character and
Well, he just rearranged that. You ain't changed nothing. You just rearranged for political expediency.
And that makes sense to him.
Well, why not? If he walk in, it makes sense. He win the election, it makes sense. It's not a question of right or wrong. It's political expediency. He do it so Carriacou, the people from Piti Martinique might feel now, they have a reason to hate Grenada. You notice one strong lawyer was encouraging them to petition the parish, and he don't care if they are aligned to New Zealand.
Yeah.
I don't know what Grenada did them, but I guess it changed for the time.
Yes,
Scholar, thank you.
The most dangerous organization in any country. The lawyers, the police officers, and the teachers, the three most destructive and dangerous. And I say that with no apology.
Well, I can support you. I hear people that say no apology. When I express my opinion, if I get new information, I change in my opinion. But that's three organization, institution that is very important. And maybe that's
dangerous.
Well, yes. So that's one of the reasons we have to lobby them. We have to lobby our teachers to be more productive. Or maybe they need to put up the statistics or challenge it. Because I said 70% of the children that exit school in Grenada, 70% cannot meet the minimum requirement. What is the minimum requirement? I believe that when you exit school, you should have English language, mathematics, a science, at least 5 subjects, including English language and mathematics. Right. Nothing wrong if you are 25, because we could always play bragging rights. Nothing wrong with bragging rights. Right. But at least minimum, you should have a minimum of 5 subjects. So the children will be more competitive on the job market. So I think sometimes they must either challenge me statistics, because I'm not a statistician. And I know any bright people could challenge it. So challenge it. And they have the data, so they can put it up.
Yeah.
And that might help people understand, All
right.
Yeah. And I also believe that the Bar Association, one of the oldest associations in Grenada, and our best legal minds. So they must serve as a mediator. There are some issues that going on in Grenada, the Bar could express an opinion on it. Even on the issue of the constitutional reform, Francis Alexis and Ferguson, they try their best, but they didn't get no support from the Bar. And even during the revolution or during Gary era, even issues that transcend party politics. Look at this last issue we have, the boat. When the lawyers finish with this poor Grenadian staff, sometimes the international community don't want to see, because they are not taking into consideration the guy's possibility. Call on the line. Caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
How are you doing today?
Great.
All right. Mr. Pierre, I just want to touch on an important issue here in Grenada. Mr. Pierre, the issue is customer service, Mr. Pierre, and productivity of production in the workplace. Mr. Pierre, when you look at Grenada, a lot of people are going to work, Mr. Pierre, in different business places, government places, and they are not producing, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, if you have a business and you're not producing, then how would the business make money to pay you, Mr. Pierre? You're running a growing business, isn't it?
Well, you could take a copy on the private sector. The private sector is far our cousin. The private sector is far our cousin.
Yeah.
And you notice Cable and Wireless and Digicel and just get rid of their managers.
Yeah.
Right, so.
I think the government could do that as well.
Why not?
If you're not producing, Mr. Pierre, if you're going on the work all day and you're on your phone, you're on your laptop, tap you, you're not paying attention to your duties. You don't think you should be fired?
Fire the manager?
Yeah.
You don't fire the worker, you fire the manager.
And why we as
You see, we firing wrong people in this country.
Yeah.
You go after the manager and fire the manager.
Fire the manager.
What you going and fire poor workers that they are not policy makers, they're not giving instruction. They are the ones you're going after. And you want to fire them without notifying them, never even calling them and say, I'm dissatisfied with your productivity, such, A, B, and C. And I'm giving you, I spoke to you on 2 occasions, and this is your official letter, and consider it as your last.
And I like
there are procedures in place.
Yeah.
But when you go after a man because you believe he have green blood in you, you're wrong.
So, Mr. Pierre, I like that point you just made. Point well taken. Because most time the Prime Minister might be head of the country, and under him there is a chain of command, There is chain of command. And under him he may not be aware what is taking place down there. And at the end he get the blame.
But if you in your house and children fighting, wife doing things and you don't know, who you want to get the blame?
But you was just saying a while ago that the manager is responsible.
Well, you the head of the house. Your children fighting, neighbor, dog barking, biting people. You are the head of the home.
So that means you have to do proper investigation to know where the problem is stemming
You don't have
from.
to investigate, manage your home. If you manage your home, this thing can happen. Go. All you have to do, Color, look around in your community. I challenging you. Look around in your community and watch the individuals that involve the most in pretty larceny, hooliganism, bad behavior, whatever. And those children who are doing well in school, and pay attention to the different homes. Color? It's not hard. It's not hard.
Yeah. Well, let me just finish my point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I won't stay long.
Well, you see, once you start to ask me questions, I'll take a point and go with it, you know.
I know.
You must make your point.
I was talking about consumer what?
Consumers.
Customer service.
Customer service. But there's a problem throughout the whole country. Eh?
Yes, something we have to work on. We need to get human resource personnel to go in workplace. Eddie Frederick is good at that, you know.
You don't, the one that encouraging to send old people and give them Amjet?
We encourage that.
Color, this customer service, all you need is a good manager. You don't need these people to come to your place to tell you you played the fool. All you need is a good manager. Customer service could come and speak to the manager and say, boss, look at such a, but the manager, the one in charge, the permanent secretary, the departmental head, Kenny Larson, Daddy Wayne, those businessmen and them, they are the ones that is responsible.
But we need people along the line that could train the workers to better their
shock therapy. You train workers with shock therapy. You start in the schoolhouse. You fire some principals that are not performing. You look at their productivity. You look at them based upon productivity. You give them a 5 years period. You attach them to a principal that is performing. They say, you living in Ticolo, you're not performing. This principal in Granan's performing. Work with them for 2 years and see what you are doing that they need to do. It's like
also, Mr. Pierre, we have to look at incentive, you know. You have also
Caller, you don't want to solve problem. You want to play games. You don't want to solve problem. You see, you start to play games around. You turn the trade union leader on me and my job.
No, what
the trade union is responsible. Caller, the trade union is responsible for negotiating salaries.
I know that.
So when you're talking about production, leave the trade union activities out of it. Because the trade union don't care whether you're productive or not. They don't care. It's not the responsibility. So you don't tie up everything. That means you don't want to solve problems. If you want to solve problems, solve the problem. Yeah?
But it's a very serious issue.
Yes. All right, thank you. We have to, a lot of people believe, and most time you have this discussion, you go back to the public service. Because that's the government is the biggest employer in the country. And we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome. Caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. P.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah. I understand that Mr. Cato will be the new Speaker of the House.
You speaking low, so we can't
Yeah,
hear you.
I understand that Mr. Cato will be the new Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Right. Well, congratulations to him.
Is he the Speaker of the House yet, or is a potential?
Say will be.
Okay.
Yes, it
All right. Okay.
will be. Yeah. I wish him well. He's my good friend. I hope that he can do a very good job.
He has the ability, he has the capability to be Speaker of the House.
I think he has.
Once he's a good umpire, you obey the rules. They have a set of rules there, you have to follow it. When somebody objects, you have to quote the rules. Yeah, he's quite capable.
But you have to be a partial person too.
Well, none of us is perfect. Mr. Cato is an NDC person inside it.
Right.
And he is going to be partial to the extent that he recognizes that the Prime Minister is the first among equal. And he's going to always try to give them a little edge, particularly when in green. Later on, as he become more mature, his partiality might be a little bit more difficult to discern.
But I honestly wish him the best.
Of course. And in addition, he's a St. Andrews boy.
Oh yeah. Well,
I said on the
program. Starring again.
Yes, St. Andrews had about 4 speakers of the House already.
I understand that there is a move to increase salaries too, particularly minister's salary. And I too personally believe that minister's salary will...
Well, I take a lot of objection to that. One of the reasons, and one of the main reasons I object to that, the government just reach inside it. As soon as they get their first salary, while at the same time they're firing workers, trying to get rid of people from the lower echelons, they're fighting to increase their salary.
Yeah,
I think this is unjustified and it is wrong.
What I'm saying, I'm looking at increase of salary from a general point of view.
They're not increasing salary generally. What they're trying to do is to soften up the public to go after this. This is selfishness of the worst kind.
I will hope that's not the aim. Because as I said,
that is the aim.
I am looking at salary increase from a general point
You're
of view.
going to get misled again. When the trade union was speaking about contract workers, they was not speaking about all contract workers. They're speaking workers within the system. The National Democratic Congress jump up on the bandwagon and say they're going to make contract workers permanent. Now the government talking about their salary. The National Democratic Congress follow the Prince of Hate. And they claim that the NNP people was making one amount of money while everybody living in hope, they're living in Happy Hill. This was the expression they used. So the members themselves believe that. So some of them decide to, good opportunity, politician making a lot of money, so they go in this job. Now they get their first paycheck and political and economic shock take them. So they immediately go trying to raise their salary. This is deceitful. It is wrong. It is unacceptable.
I hope it is across the board.
They should. It can be across the board.
There is a need for.
You in tongue long. You in tongue long. Don't let this thing mislead you. It is only to satisfy their. It is only to satisfy them. And well, I know. You see, prior to when the NNP was in power, none of the NDC supported increase in salary. The trade union was attacking the pension. They was attacking politician pension. They was saying they're making a lot of money. They was telling the public, go in front the door, they're making money, they're going to give you money. Politicians have to hide from the crowd. They reach in power, and 1 month after they reach in power, they intend to raise the salary. This is selfishness. It is wrong. It is deceitful. It is misleading. If in the last quarter, they look at it, that means they don't intend to make the sacrifice they was asking and expecting other politicians to make.
Well,
and don't get tricked with it.
I hope I don't get tricked.
Well, I am. It's nice to hope, but you look at the history. You look at people. I mean, they say forgive, but because I lend you money and I forgive you because you didn't pay me back, next time you come, I lend you again. You know, Yeah, my brother. Thank you.
Anyhow, I will hope that that it looked at anything as salary must be looked at across the board, because as soon as you raise the minister's pay, you would automatically have to raise the permanent secretary's pay.
That is not caller. The government cannot raise union members' pay.
No, I'm saying a national raise.
Understand that. The unions represent group of workers. Government cannot go and raise their pay. This thing have to be negotiated. So this thing they're talking about is politician pay, not government workers pay, not unionized workers pay. And don't you see, when we start saying that, the ordinary person believe in it. They believe you will even raise Imani pay to you. No, that is not true. Well, I'm not hoping and telling you what they could do. The union will kick up. You can't do that. They cannot do that, color.
Let's wait and see.
I'm not waiting to see. I know they cannot do it. Yeah, thank you very much. Let me take this call from this Facebook, and it's my partner, Onisto. Mr. Pierre, when your NNP government was firing people left, right, and center, I never heard you mention anything about the poor people who have nothing to go back to. Mothers with babies. Where was you, Mr. Pierre, to fight for them? When one set of people in the house eating a food with their friends and NDC supporters not even the crumbs from the table, where were you to talk about it? And this is the reason Deacon get in a trap. Because when you were propagating this thing with your disinformation, the Deacon believe. The Deacon, the Prime Minister now, and the other members of his team believe politicians was getting a windfall. So after they get their first paycheck, shock take them. Political and economic culture shock take them. Because they believe all these color punch. Yes, caller, welcome. Caller, you listen to your radio, so you have to call us back. So this is the problem. You hear me speak about Tilaita. You hear me speak about the dentists from Ticolo that refuse to come back and help. You see, the government was not fine. The NNP government was the one that created the most employment opportunities in the country. I hear people used to say, concrete, they go eat concrete. He was doing infrastructure work. And that is what you do. That is what top quality economists advise you to do when you have economic crisis, to go and invest in infrastructure and create collab. Welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Why did you just read about the NNP5 reference and said that's true?
Well, that wasn't true. That wasn't true.
That was not true.
Because you had the greatest employment during that period of time.
I remember even some NNP people were saying, NNP giving more NDC job than
No, I think
that was true.
But you see, if people is listening to a certain radio program and they're not listening to others, and this is what you call disinformation, and they repeat it regularly, and they do it on Facebook. So this is the reason I am totally against the National Democratic Congress interfering with politician pay at this time. You're just rich. Parliament don't even open yet.
I remember that program, Kem's program, where the military get a lot of money with salary big. And I do believe that is so much the reason so many young politicians, young people get into politics.
Yes, I think so.
They were getting big money, but 1 month,
it's unacceptable.
Salary.
That shows a high degree of selfishness.
Selfishness.
Yeah.
Because while the same people are paying them, you say you go look into the minister and get an increase in salary.
No, that's selfishness. That's selfish. Yes, scholar. Thank you. Yes, we could. I always encourage people, whenever you hear things on radio or anyway, do a little research on it. Because one of the challenges we have in the Caribbean is high unemployment. And in Grenada, we export soursop, we export nutmeg, cocoa, fish. St. George's University contribute about 20% of the GDP, and we depend on tourism. Now, a number of people felt that Grenada was investing too much in tourism and we should invest in agriculture instead. When we had COVID-19 and tourism grind to a halt, and St. George's University was significantly, the activity was significantly reduced. The farmers recognized how important these two entities are to the agriculture industry. You must, if you want to export agriculture products, because of economy of scale, we cannot hire a plane to come to bring our products. We don't have enough. So we have to get a hub on the tourist transport. Even within intra-island now, you have a serious challenge for transportation. A number of speculators or vendors in the sauce-up industry have been affected seriously because the tourism is not dynamic. So the government was correct. The government then was correct. The opposition members, some of them knew the truth. But because of the disinformation and propaganda, they believe we should put the emphasis on tourism, on agriculture, while not looking at tourism. St. George's University consumes a significant quantum of the products that we produce. The hotels ask the farmers. Marketing board would have suffered significantly. But once the tourist trade is thriving in Grenada, what you would see is significant improvement in agriculture. Babandi and all go sell. All sort of agriculture products is going to sell once the tourist trade is thriving significantly. And as we come around to the end of the program, we're there. As we reach the end of the program, we want to thank you very much for your comments and your participation today. And we always highly appreciate those of you who call. And we're back with you tomorrow again between 12 and 1.
Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracum. The great and diverse be our ethnicities. The bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love. We dance and we play. We relate to each other, rest in your way. Today as a people united as one, determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon, the future now firmly in our hands. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
This is a latest update of news produced by Triple N. Details when we get back.
M&M Hardware Limited, home St. Andrew and Dusty Highway, St. George. Shop conveniently for all your building materials, including plumbing, electrical, lumber, cement, steel, and much more. We manufacture roofing sheets available in 11 colors, aluminum windows, doors, insect screens, and hurricane shutters. Installation services are available for all our manufactured products. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. M&M Hardware Limited. Come on in and experience our affordable prices, or call us 444-6757 or 440-6757 Dusty Highway. Email us at info@mahonhardware.com or mnmdusty@mahonhardware.com. M&M Hardware, foundation to roof. Let's build together.
Locally, a recipe for Grenadian stew chicken has won the gold ladle at the Cook in the Commonwealth competition on August 28, 2022. Birmingham Public Health, the competition organizer, announced the result for the Americas region on its social media pages. In the region, in Trinidad and Tobago, the year was 1962. Ocho Street, Sangre Grande, the strains of newly formed Quartet Steel Orchestra permitted the air. Founders Stanley Cooper and Aldrin Chowling R, whose year turned into the band's first Spaniard, listened attentively to the songs from the steel bands. 60 years later, the Quartet is still a well-respected band representing Sangre Grande and Trinidad and Tobago. TTT News reports.
The year was 1962. Ojo Street, Sangre Grande. The strains of the newly formed Quartet Steel Orchestra permeated the air. Founders Stanley Cooper and Aldwin Chow Linnon, whose yard turned into the band's first panyard, listened attentively to the sounds emanating from the steel pans. 60 years later, the Quartet is still a well-respected band representing Sangre Grande and Trinidad and Tobago. More in this report. The Sangre Grande-based Quartet Steel Orchestra celebrated 60 years in fine style on Saturday evening at their Foster Road panyard. A major part of the festivities included recognizing several persons who were instrumental in the development of the band and its players over the years. Among the persons honored were founders Stanley Cooper and Aldwin Chow Linnon, and founding arranger of the band, Paul Campbell. In 1967, the Sangre Grande Quartets captured the Prime Minister's trophy in the unsponsored class in the Independent Steel Band Music Festival. In 1990, the band won the East Zone of Panorama with the selection Na Do Dat. And although the band made several appearances at the Panorama Finals, they have not won any titles. The Quartet's anniversary celebrations are part of Pan Trinbago's commemoration of Steel Pan Month 2022.
Thank you, TTT News. Around the globe, more than 12 million people from Arizona to Louisiana were under flash flooding threats on Sunday morning. Morgan Norwood have the details.
From extreme drought to extreme flooding, heavy rain heading east across several western states. At Utah's Zion National Park, the urgent search for a missing hiker. More than 20 search and rescue team members looking for the missing woman. Authorities say Jatal Agnihotri of Tucson, Arizona, disappeared amid flash flooding late Friday evening.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Look at that.
Further east in Moab, the street turned into a river, engulfing vehicles, including a motorcycle. In New Mexico, an estimated 150 people evacuated after they were stranded overnight at Carlsbad Caverns National Park, south of Roswell. One family describing their ordeal.
We got to go through the caverns about 2 hours through. They told us that we had to evacuate. It took us about maybe 20-30 minutes to get out.
It's the roads that are washed out and we can't pass.
At one point, the caverns ran out of water and the family says staff gave them food, but they had to pay for it. Flood watches in effect all the way from Arizona to Louisiana. Drought conditions in the region causing the sudden burst of rain to mix with the parched soil as if it were concrete, leading to flash flooding. With several inches expected from the monsoon rains, some areas of North Texas could see up to 8 inches. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Thank you, Morgan. In sports, Chelsea will still need to pay a world record fee for the defender if they want to sign Wesley Fofana, as Leicester have no plans to reduce their asking price. This ends the latest update of news. Thank you for listening.
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
This is Real FM. You have been listening to the latest report on COVID-19. We now return to regular programming.
I'm a winner. You are winner. We are winners.
It's the big one. Grenada. Imagine winning $25,000 and up to 6 times by scratching just one later ticket. Get your triple cash scratch tickets for a chance to live your best life. Win easy with Scratch.